But that's the I. That's the I that's lurking behind everything. That's the I that's driving us all the time to do things to make ourselves happy and not to be free of suffering. That I. And when you meditate on the lack of existence of self, that is the I. That is the I that you have to finally find is not there, because that I doesn't exist. No matter if you go and you look in your body, is that I in this body? And you look all in through your body. You look in your eyes, your hair, your ears, your tongue, through the whole body, brain, heart, everywhere. You can't find that I anywhere in the body. Also, if you look in the mind, if you know the 5 aggregates, if you look at the feeling and the discrimination and the compositional factors and the consciousness, you look at all those things, trying to find where this I is. You can't find it there either. And then if you look as if it's outside of those things, if it's not the 5 aggregates, if you look for it outside, you can't find it there either. That I is like a phantom. But it's got us by the short and curlies. Because everything that we do is driven by that feeling of I. I have to have, me, I'm more important. So it'll be okay if this inherently existing, what I say inherently exists means it feels as though it's really existing inside. Independent, it feels as though it's independent. It is, if you say, does it depend on my body? No, it doesn't. Does it depend on my mind? No, it doesn't. If you look at it, it looks as though it feels really independent, like maybe a permanent soul or something, sitting in there. It feels really kind of permanent, independent. Yeah? If even if that thing existed or not, it didn't exist, if we got permanent happiness out of that, then it would be fine. We didn't have to worry about whether it existed or not. Yeah? If we got permanent happiness and we didn't have to suffer anymore, then it didn't matter whether it existed or not. We would just be happy and be free of suffering. But the problem is that thing, that I that we associate so strongly with, that I continually drives us to get to our cups of coffee. And if we look at drinking the cups of coffee, we never get any real satisfaction out of the cups of coffee, or the movies, or the houses, or the motor cars, or the girlfriends, or the boyfriends. See, we are coming to relationships. Okay, so I'm not quite at relationships yet. Now I'm at friends. Friends. So part of that, what the I drives us to do is to look at other people. When we see ourselves like that, independent, inherently existing, independent like that, then we tend to see other people the same way. When I look at you, I see an independently, inherently existing person over here. How do you really exist? How do you really exist? How does this organism over here truly exist? Come on, you're all Buddhist, you should know this. Maybe. Well, there's a body, right? There's the body. And how's the body made up? The body's made up of skin and bones and flesh and blood and, all the rest of it that makes up the body. But if I said to you, where's the real body? Where's the body that's not made of anything else? Where's the actual body? Point it to me. Then, difficult. Not able to do. Yeah? So there's this body that's a collection of causes, conditions, and parts. Causes being, your mother and your father came together and their substances mixed, and then you ate food and breathed air and so on and so forth, and you grew and you grew and you became like this. Your body became like this. So your body is this collection of causes and conditions and parts. And that's how your body exists. Is there any other way that your body could exist? Can you think of? See, causes, conditions, and parts. The causes, like, the causes that your mother and father came together and then they're all eating and so on. all the conditions, all the environment that keeps us going and all that sort of thing, all the conditions, and then all the parts that make us up. And that's how the body comes together. Actually, that's how the mind comes together as well. All the causes, conditions from our previous lives, causes, conditions coming, and then all our experiences in this life, our habits that we create, our attitudes and all that sort of thing, those all collect together, and then they and the body are all part of one, and that's how we exist. Causes, conditions, and parts coming together, and then a label put onto that. Robin put onto that. And that's how Robin exists. But I don't see that. When I look at Robin, I see Robin as an independently, inherently existing organism. Independent of everything else, inherently existing in some way as though he has some inherent existence that's independent, not dependent on anything else. That's how I see him. And that's how I grasp at him. And that's how I grasp at me. Then when Robin smiles at me, then I think, this is a nice person. I like this person. This is a good person. Then Ada scowls at me. I think this is a horrible person. I don't like this person.
Ada never scowls.
No, just taking an example. You see? Now, what have I got? Now I've got this cups of coffee. Now I've got happiness and suffering. When I look at Ada, I have suffering. When I look at Robin, then I have some kind of feeling of happiness. He's my friend, she's my enemy. When I look at the rest of you, well, I don't see, I couldn't care less. Doesn't matter. What do you do when you walk down the street? And you look at all the people passing by?
Judge.
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at them and you think, that's a pretty person and that's an ugly person or something like that, maybe, yeah. But generally, you walk down the street and you let them pass by and, you forget about them, isn't it? Neither here nor there. So that's what we do. Friend, enemy, stranger. We make some people are our friends, other people are our enemies, and other people are just strangers and we forget about them. And what do we do with our friends? Robin says to me, we're now good friends, okay? And I really like Robin. And Robin decides one day he's going into that big department store, what's it called? The big flash one in the city? Smith & Co. He's going to Smith & Co. and he's going to rip off some gent stuff.
Steal it.
Yeah, steal it. So he comes to me and he says, come with me, we're going to rip off some stuff from Smith & Co. So now he's my friend, right? I don't want to say no to him. So I think, perhaps this is not such a good idea. Yeah, come on, man, let's go and do it. Let's just do it. It'll be fun. They're such capitalists, those people. Let's get back at them. So I go out and I join him because he's my mate, and I go off and do something that's actually not very good. And then Ada scowls at me, and then every time she looks at me, I think she's scowling at me. So I think, I've got to do something to this woman. I've got to get her to stop scowling at me. And then I sort of yell at her, or I come and smack her and say, stop scowling at me. Something like that. Yeah? Then she smacks me back. And I smack her back. Then she smacks me back. Then, she knocks me out. So what I'm trying to prove here is that because I see myself as this I, and I see them as the I, then I create these behaviors that actually don't actually lead me to problems and difficulties. We go and rip off Smith & Co.'s. Smith & Co.'s got a camera that we don't see. The next moment I'm in jail, just because I wanted to help my mate.